having a roadmap. I think it's safe to say, or fair to say, that you need a roadmap with anything you do in your life, right? And for those one-offs, or not even one-offs, but for the people that are like, I like to fly by the seat of my pants. Well, you're speaking to someone that puts aside ADD. I'm just all over the map, right? But whatever I want to do throughout my life, whatever I wanted to do and actually, accomplish whatever goal that was, or just for the mere fact of stay consistent and getting shit done, I had to have a roadmap, right? So from a sales standpoint, I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's a VP of sales. His strong suit was never like the front end of the sales. He was always, big picture kind of guy, right? Which is great, but his team is struggling because they really have no roadmap on, what's needed to his SDR team to get meetings, right? To qualify accounts. So, we broke it down and he was telling me, last week's metrics, and there was a ton of activity, right? A ton of outbound calls, ton of, outbound emails in the hundreds, right? And, out of three of the SDRs, the outcome of that was, well, one spoke with a controller, didn't really have much info. One set a follow-up meeting, or I should say a follow-up qualify call with a logistics manager. And then the other one just set an appointment with I think it was like a logistics person. So I think each one had over 200 outbound activities, both with, calls and emails. And out of that was, 3 appointments. One, which is another follow-up to qualify when that person was already on the line. They could have qualified it or not. I don't even need to get into the weeds with that. So we sat there and it was like, okay, well, we got to take a step back, right? You only know what you know. And it's not just my buddy's team, but, I see this, there's just a huge gap specifically in the logistics industry when it comes into the whole entire sales process, but in the front end piece of figuring out what metrics as a company you're trying to look at, right? So I'll take from the very first start of my career, it was, I needed 15 qualified leads a week. I needed 4 new appointments. I won't even go into seconds, thirds, and so forth. But for the basics, I needed, again, 15 qualified opportunities, meaning, the spend was there. So started my career, $1,000 a week minimum in spend. That's just one piece. And they had to, there had to be 1 or 2 challenges inside that company that I was able to uncover, qualifying it, just cold calling to get information that I knew my company could solve. Then it would go into that would be considered a qualified lead, right? So I needed 15 of those. On top of that, I needed 4 new first appointments booked each week. And the rule was, again, especially in the beginning, there was really no leeway, but it was typically, though, out of those 4 appointments, 3 had to be with C to VP level, and one of those appointments could be, influencer, right? Not the decision maker, but we felt like, again, we felt like that person could push it to the DM if need be, right? So now that, again, I joined this company, started my career, I get that. That's what I was told. This company was great because they already had those kind of metrics, right? So I didn't have to build from scratch. Now it was my call. Every day I was counting how many hours I was specifically cold calling just to get qualified leads, to get those 15 qualified leads. So back then, when we were, qualifying accounts, I was door knocking. I wasn't picking up the phone when it came into like picking up qualified leads. So doors and hours, right? Every day I'd go back, CRM, how many leads did I get? How many hours did I spend cold calling? Okay, cool. At the end of that week, I was able to figure out, okay, it took me, did I hit my goal, right, of 15, right? So if I did, great. How many hours did it take me? Okay, so next week, if the numbers are correct, it will take me, let's just say it took me 25 hours to get 15 qualified leads. I need to make sure that I have at least 25 hours in my calendar. That's going to be, sorry, I left my camera. With my buddy on a hunting trip. So I'm using this thing, but so back to where was I? Okay. So yeah, 25 hours it took me to get those 15 leads for that week. So next week I need to, again, plan my week accordingly and make sure that, again, I have at least minimum 15 or 25 hours in my calendar, Monday through Friday, however I want to plan it, to dedicate it just to cold calling, right? So now, as you get better, maybe you have a great week, whatever it may be, those numbers, it could go to 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week, whatever it may be, but keeping track of that so you know exactly what you need to do, right? Helps you plan, especially when you start getting more tenure in your career, meetings start coming by. So that was just that part, right? So then when it got into setting meetings, right? Same formula, but I needed 4 new meetings, right? So whether that was, I got them in the field or, on the phone, I was counting, let's just say phone appointments. I was counting how many hours did I spend that week to hit my goal. So let's just say that week I hit my goal of 4 appointments. So now I said, okay, I spent 15 hours and dials. I like to do dials just because I look at it as a game, but hours is really where it matters, right? So you can plan accordingly your time. So it took me 15 hours to get 4 new appointments that week. So let's see. It took me 25 hours to hit my goal of qualified leads. It took me 15 hours to get my weekly goal of 4 new appointments. So we're looking at what? 25, 15, 35, 40 hours, right? So 40 hours. 40 hours to that's a week, right? So I needed, and again, that's with nothing else, right? So it took me 40 hours to get the bare minimum of hitting my goals. Now, again, next week, I know I have to have 40 hours to even hit my goals. You'll start getting better and stuff like that. Maybe you're not going to hit your goal, but whatever it may be, you have a game plan, right? And the next week you'll be able to track that. Oh, I killed it. But as you start getting more meetings and running more setups or whatever it may be, you are going to have to, you're going to have to know how to manage your time so that you're always being able to hit that goal, right? A lot of times people get really good. I call them one-hit wonders, right? They kill it. They knock it out of the park. Can't really tell you how they knocked it out of the park. And then shit just starts hitting the fan, right? It's like, well, we're just good. No, you're not. Anybody could say that, right? Anybody could be a one-hit wonder, right? I always say it's like run it back to back to back like Tom Brady and, be detailed when it comes into that, right? It's like, hell, I remember you're not always going to hit your goals or whatever. Maybe you ran a couple different setups. You had too many meetings, but I remember my manager when I wouldn't hit a weekly goal or maybe it was like a monthly goal. I remember I was able to pinpoint, well, hey man, I need 10 hours to get 15 leads. I need 15 hours to get 4 appointments. I wasn't able to get those 10 hours for my leads, as well as I was a couple hours shy on the appointment setting, my time dedicated appointment setting, just because I had to run those 2 setups that were going to generate over $1 million in revenue. So I needed to make sure that I took care of that first. Cool. Yeah, I had a reason why I didn't hit my goal. I knew exactly why I didn't hit my goal, right? So having a roadmap to get to where you need to go is crucial. If you're one of those, here's an example. If you're one of those workout buffs, right? I'm low-key undercover, love I've always been kind of like a gym junkie, not like big diesel dude, but always been into my health. And I remember this is mind-blowing to me still, but so I relatively ate good in college, drank whatever, but I thought my diet was good, but again, it was lacking nutrition and stuff like that. But I was still going to the gym 5, 6 days. I spent so much time in the gym, right? Big runner, was running probably throughout my college, even last 2 years of high school into college, probably 40 miles on average a week. I loved running. And, getting out of college, I was in decent shape, never really had abs. That was a big thing. I was I spent so much time in the gym. I was just pretty much skinny, right? Maybe Nah, I'm giving too much credit, just skinny. So it was like, I was just like, damn, man, I spent all this time in the gym. I don't really track anything. What the hell? So 2000, I remember it was, what was I? It's 2013, start of the new year. I just basically, I remember real quick, my best friend's brother-in-law, skinny dude, got really buff. We sat down, talked, started tracking my macros. And again, this is just, hear me out. And again, I wasn't some like nutbag when it came into like, I'm just dedicated to health, all this, but the outcome of that, what I was able to do. So I went from 155 pounds at 6'2", to about when I really just started seeing results in 4 months, was able to go from like 155 to 168 shredded in what it was. I remember when I took a progress pic, it was January 2013. And then I think it was like mid-April 2013. And it was like, I'm not even going to post it on here, but it was like mind blowing. Right. And just being able to count what my body needed. Right. And I spent way less time in the gym. So I was able to, say, okay, cool. This is what I know that if I wanted to maintain here, I was able to, again, put 400 grams of carbs in my body a day with what I was doing. For me, minimum 1 gram of protein. But if I wanted to be more cut up, my body didn't react well to, fat. So I had to, I was able to eat more carbs, but lower my fat. Again, what I'm trying to get at is I was able to, just by, again, spending that first month, what I did, basic 1 gram of protein it was like 1 gram to 1.5 grams of protein per body, per pound of body fat, or per whatever I weighed. And then I think it was like a 0.5 gram to 1 gram of carbs in the beginning. And then it was, I think we kept it at like 50 grams, but regardless, I was able to stick to that, stuck to a workout program, was in and out, knew exactly what I did that week, every day, every Monday it was chest, went to chest. If I didn't go up in weight, I went up in reps. And it was so detailed that first month. And then I just took off from there. And to this day, again, fluctuate, but I am able to go it was 10 years later, but body changes. But just from that, having that first month in 2013 to be able to know exactly what I needed to do for my body, I'm able to, if I go off track, I'm able to get right back in. I'm able to, generally my body is, I can keep my body to where I want, even with bare minimum workout, just by knowing exactly what my body needs. And it was a lot easier for me to make tweaks to when, I got older, didn't have the time to work out as much. I was able to tweak things a lot more efficiently because I had that roadmap in the beginning. So there's an example of that. So having a roadmap, I know this is long-winded, but having a roadmap is crucial to your success, specifically in sales. So if you're not tracking, and if your company doesn't have any type of like metrics for you, the basic ones are, you have to qualify accounts. You can't just keep ripping through dials and not getting anywhere from it. So just calling an account to book a meeting, save the time. I know a lot of people that just call accounts. Hey, can we get a meeting? Great. When you could have just took about 5 seconds to ask a couple questions to see if that even was a qualified account for your target customer, right? So knowing your target customer, qualifying, make sure you always fill that pipeline with qualified accounts, and then meetings booked. Focus on the beginning first to qualify. Hell, I would, if you don't have, if you're not if your pipeline's not full of like real opportunities, meaning let's just say spend for your target customer spend and a couple challenges that your company can solve. If your pipeline if you don't have at least 50, if you're new, pause real quick. But if you're a year, 6 months on, and you don't have a pipeline in your pipeline of at least 50 qualified accounts that fit your criteria for your target customer, that I would not worry about booking any meeting at all until I got 50 new real qualified accounts in my pipeline. Then I would start going after those accounts to book meetings, or if you're more of a transactional, get loads, whatever your criteria is. But having that, having 50 good qualified accounts that fit your criteria is just a must. So have a roadmap. If your company doesn't give you one, build one out so you know exactly how to get to where you're trying to go and hit your goals out of the park, not just like a one-time one-hit wonder. Listen, you could sit there and say relationships matter, all this fluffy duffy bullshit, but at the end of the day, relationships matter. Just like, you know, my fiance knows that I don't have to tell my fiance I'm not going to cheat on her, because you just don't do that, right? So relationships matter. My fiance knows that I'm not going to cheat on her, just because that's just freaking normal, right? That's a given. But having a roadmap to get to where you're trying to go from hitting your goals is crucial. So put the fluff aside, get a little detailed, spend a month to really figure out where you're at with your ratios, and then the sky's the limit. So that's my rant. Been in the woods. Not that anybody cares, but I guess that's a new thing to do. Like, guess who's back? Reintroducing myself. I'm not. So if you got any questions, reach out to me. Realsrare.com. You can get how to master the front end of the sales process, and we can go from there. I'll talk to you guys. Peace.